Ah, we're back in the hospital room. He simply stood, unable to speak. Seven's eyes opened wide and his mouth gaped. After a few long moments, Seven at last managed to speak.
Hey, what is this place? It's so huge and empty.
A massive room stretched out in front of them, more a cavern than a room. Its vastness was oppressive, and it bore down on Seven and Junpei. It was not empty, however. The entire room was filled with lines upon lines of beds. They were simple things, little more than pipe and thin mattresses.
Oh, there are beds everywhere. Is this a hospital? The harsh scent in the air is reminiscent of antiseptic solution.
I think so. There are shelves in the center of the room with medicine and surgical tools.
Hey, look there. The 4 doors at the end.
Three of them were emblazoned with large single-digit numbers, made with thick red paint.
The left door says 3. The second door is blank, but the third has a 7. And the rightmost door is 8. There's no doubt, they're numbered doors.
Hey, why is that door between 3 and 7 blank? Does that mean anything?
No point worrying about it right now. Let's see if these will open first.
Yeah, good idea.
The three of them threaded their way through the beds, toward the back of the room. Upon reaching them, they proceed to investigate each door in turn, but to no avail. Well, the reds are active
Yep,
here, I think.
locked. Just like I thought.
Naturally. After all, there are rules to the Nonary Game, and to allow these doors to open easily would violate those rules.
The rules.
Unless we can authenticate ourselves with the red, the numbered doors will...
Whoa, check this out.
Suddenly, Seven spoke up, interrupting Snake.
Look at the red.
Oh, okay,
There's
maybe
nothing
not.
on it.
Huh?
Don't you remember the red back at the main staircase? If there wasn't anyone in it, it said vacant on the little screen, remember?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're right.
But this one...
There's nothing.
Right? You think it's broken?
Only one way to find out.
No, nothing.
Junpei and the others put their hands on the panel, but nothing happened. The red refused to change. They tried pulling the lever, and still nothing. As they soon discovered, it was only the red on door 8 that seemed to be malfunctioning.
How about the red on door 7? And door 3?
I didn't think all of them would be malfunctioning.
What does it mean?
They've got to be broken. Man, that bastard. I didn't think Zero was the kind of guy who'd screw around with something like this.
Whoa. Zero's been prepared for everything so far, and you're saying he's gonna make a mistake now?
Well, that's the only thing I can think of. This thing ain't working at all.
While Junpei and Seven talked, Snake busied himself with examining the red. After a time, he lowered his hands and spoke.
It seems as if some of the internal hardware has been removed.
Internal hardware?
That is what I said. Take a look at the underside of this red, if you please.
Okay.
The bottom?
Junpei obliged and bent over to look at the underside of the device.
Huh, there's a thin slot here. I think it's a slot for something. Probably electronic.
Well done, Junpei. Gold star.
The other two reds are the same. Something's been removed from all three of them.
I get it. So the reds aren't working because somebody pulled out their guts.
Way to phrase it.
So I assume.
Right.
But why? And who? I mean, it really doesn't make sense.
Yeah, the others aren't here yet, so who got ahead of them to do this?
I have no idea. Why on earth would I know something like that?
Just then,
Oh, what
they
now?
heard the sound of a door opening. There's a slot! I think it's a slot for something. Such a clever boy, Junpei, right? Akane! Oh no, Junpei thought it's...
June!
She stopped short, surprised to see them, and was very nearly bowled over by the rest of her companions who were coming through the door behind her.
Ace! Santa! Clover! And Lotus!
The devil!
Guess everyone's here.
I can't talk, I am the woman symbol, look at me. Got my horns up here. Junpei and Seven were, for the moment, at a loss for words.
What are you guys doing?
Why are you...
That's my line?
Perhaps we should exchange information.
After a moment of silence and surprise, everyone suddenly began to talk, desperate to exchange information. They talked about the rooms they'd been through and how they'd ended up in the same place. Of course, none of it was very useful information. They were simply happy to... Oh, wait, hold on. But that hardly mattered. They were happy to simply see one another again. Although the level of cheer varied greatly from person to person, each one of them was wearing some manner of smile. Almost as though they had already forgotten about the death of the ninth man. No, thought Junpei. Perhaps that wasn't it. Perhaps thoughts of his death were what drove them to smile at one another. Not in a morbid or hateful way, no. The ninth man had died. They were still alive, and that was something to be happy about. A sort of simple, uncomplicated joy, Junpei thought. The joy of being alive. Still alive? He felt sorry for the ninth man, but more than anything, Junpei was just happy to be alive.
And that's what we know.
With that, Junpei finished his own explanation.
Well, this isn't good. If the red is inactive, we can't keep going.
What about that big hallway? Maybe there's somewhere in there we might be able to go.
No, there's nothing there. The five of us had a quick look. There are plenty more hospital rooms, but nothing else.
You mean all those doors are for hospital rooms?
Yes. There are a number of individual rooms in addition to this large one.
There was a door at the end of the hallway, but it was locked.
It had one of those solar system mark things on it.
It was the Jupiter symbol.
Jupiter.
I wonder what it means.
Confusion seemed to be the consensus.
While we're asking what things mean, what's the deal with this room? I mean, I thought this was a cruise ship, but I can't imagine a cruise ship would have a hospital like this.
No one, Not even Snake appeared ready to offer an answer, until Seven unexpectedly spoke up.
Well, I figure it's probably a hospital ship.
Are we going to learn about the Gigantic again?
Chances are
The gigantic.
What is this?
She was a sister ship to the Titanic, built in the early... Actually, the Titanic... They intended to make her a passenger. The British Navy took her. At some... She ran it. What happened? One seemed like that truck. Soon enough. Which
Okay.
was the
Not
So
the
you're
fast
saying
forward I
this
was hoping
Lord
for.
Bourdain bought this
I
ship?
thought I could just hold down the button and it would fly
Yeah,
through dialogue
at
we've
least
seen
I
already.
think I am.
That's impossible. No way we're in some boat that's almost 100 years old.
Pipe down. Just pay attention.
I'll switch to adventure mode, it'll go by faster.
What, that's it? Well, have you got
Proof?
proof that the...
Well, this...
Oh,
No.
like?
Well... I don't know.
I guess your memory isn't back yet, is it?
Yeah. Sorry about that.
Okay, I get why it's not letting me skip, because even though it is the same dialogue, this bit is different, because in the other playthrough, Junpei only learns about the memory loss here. The rest of it should be okay, because this is where Snake goes missing, right?
It sounds like the clock in the main stairway.
Right? Fast forward, hold X or hold L1.
10, 11, 12. Huh, 12.
It's midnight.
Hmm.
Then we've still got 6 hours left, right?
Let's get going. We gotta find the missing parts for the Reds.
What do you mean, find? How on earth do you propose we do that?
We've looked everywhere in this room, but we haven't found anything.
Right.
That only leaves one place to look.
One?
Well, not just one.
Huh?
Wait. Don't tell me you mean we need to search all of the other rooms.
Well, you already checked some of them out before you came here, right?
We each checked a single room, so 5 rooms in total.
All right then. That's 5 rooms we don't have to search. We just have to split up the rest between the 8 of us. If each of us can do 6 rooms apiece, we'll have the other 48 rooms cleared in no time.
There are 48 other rooms?
Maybe?
All right, so everyone knows which area they're searching?
Yeah.
Yes!
We'll all meet up when the clock goes off again. How about in that room with all the beds?
Yeah, sounds straightforward enough.
I'll shout if I find any of the components we need.
I hope we can find them within the time limit.
If we can't, then we'll just have to come up with another plan.
Right.
Then let's do this. It's 1. I better get back to the others. Huh? What are they doing over there? What happened, guys?
Jumpy, look!
Vacant? Come on, guys. Who was it? I thought we were supposed to yell if we found it.
Well...
What the hell? What is up with you guys?
Well, that's the thing. We don't know.
You don't know?
When I got back, it was already like this. There was no one else here. That means I was the first one back, but the missing parts were already back in the red.
What? Let me see. You're right. It's in there. What about the other 2?
Of course it's in there. It says vacant, you dumbass.
They're the same.
Let me take a look. It's just as you said. Alright, I just want to be sure here. Nobody has any idea what the hell happened here, right?
Correct.
None.
Huh. Wait a minute. Where's Snake? Does that mean that he found them?
I've no idea. There's nothing to suggest it, but nothing to suggest he didn't either.
I don't suppose we'll know until we can ask him in person.
Well, whatever he did or didn't do, he's pretty damn late. What the hell is he up to?
Maybe he's lost.
Yeah, well, that seems likely. Dude can't see. I don't know how he gets around in the first place.
No! That's impossible! Yeah, my brother's blind, but he's got really great hearing! He can get around as well as anyone who can see! So he couldn't get lost! That's impossible! I'm gonna go look for him!
Hey, hold on, Clover. Wait!
And she's gone.
Well, that didn't work. Damn it. What should we do now?
Well, the red is working now.
No! We're not leaving two people behind! We should go look for them!
Oh man, this ain't good.
Oh, yes, what an excellent idea. We just wasted a bunch of time looking for some piece of electronic junk. Now let's waste some more by looking for a couple of idiots.
Then remain here if you feel you must, but there's no time. We've only 5 hours left.
Let's split up.
All right, I'll take this direction.
Then I shall look that way.
I'll be over here.
See you all later.
All right, we should go too.
Yes, let's go! But where should we start?
Let's see.
Let's just do what we did before.
How about the casino on B deck?
Okay, let's go, Jump.
Hey, what do you think you're doing?
Isn't it obvious? I'm looking for Snake.
I'm just not seeing it.
Really? Maybe you need...
Oh, there it is. Thank God. Finally! Letting us just jump through dialogue now. Thank God. Okay. Yeah, we'll leave her alone this time.
Maybe we should leave her alone.
Yes, I think you're right.
We really need to find Snake. For...
Let Ace handle it.
Why don't we just leave this area to Ace? We can go somewhere else.
I don't mind. But where?
Well, let's see.
Back to the hospital room.
Why don't we go back to the big hospital room?
We gotta talk to him to move the plot, right? Has to be someone other than the 8 of them. Huh. Finish. Let's say she's right this time, just because we went with not sure the last time. Ooh. Right, okay. So now we have another choice ahead of us. What door do we want to go through? As much as I would love to see Science Boy again, I probably should pick a different door this time. So, 3 or 7. What about... Yeah, we could do door 3 this time. Maybe doors. Oh, I don't know. Doors. I don't even remember. Like, like, door 3 is the shower room. Fine, we'll find Snake's body or whatever. But I don't know. What do you think, chat? Door 3 or door 7? Oh, no. You know what? We'll go door 3. So, hitting up door 3 in 3, 2, 1. Alrighty.
I want to go through door number 3.
Nope, you can't.
Huh? Why?
Because it's impossible. If we split ourselves into 3 and 3, then we give up on going through door 3.
Why?
Bracelet numbers for the 6 of us are 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are 2 combinations that can go through door 3 with 3 people. 3, 4, 5, or 6, 7, 8. That's it. Of course, 2 teams can't go through the same door.
I see. That means one team would get left behind.
That's right.
That doesn't happen if we go through door 7 or 8?
No, they're fine. We've got 3 options.
Santa began to explain.
Option A. Have 3, 5, and 8 go through door 7, and 4, 6, 7 go through door 8. Option B. 4, 5, and 7 go through 7, and 3, 6, and 8 go through 8. Option C. 3, 6, and 7 go through 7, and 4, 5, and 8 get 8. Those are the only 3 options. That's it. At least if we want to get all 6 of us out of here.
Wait.
That was when Junpei realized. Plan A divides into 2 teams. 3, 5, 8, and 4, 6, 7. Plan B divides into 2 teams. 4, 5, 7, and 3, 6, 8. Plan C divides into 2 teams. 367 and 458.
But that means
There was one thing they all had in common.
5 and 6 can never be on the same team. If we want all 6 of us to go through a door, then June and I can't go into the same one.
June and Junpei had been friends when they were kids. He trusted her more than anyone else on the ship. If he chose 7 or 8, he'd be taken away from her. Which wasn't a problem when we went through door 5, but somehow it is now. What was that? Was that something he was prepared to do?
Have you mulled it over enough, or do you need more time? Anyway, that's the deal, so think it over. You've got 2 choices, 7 or 8. You can't choose 3. If you choose 3, you're gonna be leaving 3 people behind to die. So what are you gonna do? 7 or 8? Time to choose.
3. Junpei thought hard. After thinking it over, his conclusion was, take the risk and choose door 3.
Sorry, Santa, but I still want to go through door 3.
What? That's nuts! You've got to be crazy! Why the hell are you so obsessed with that door?
I'm just...
Junpei paused. He swallowed the words he'd been about to say.
I'm just curious about door 3. That's all.
That doesn't explain shit!
I've got a reason. I'd be happy to explain it to you if you'll just come with me.
With that, he began walking toward the door. Their curiosity likely getting the better of them, the others followed. A few of them looked a little suspicious, but Junpei told himself that wouldn't matter. He kept walking, and kept silent. Eventually, they arrived at the number 3 door. Junpei stopped.
I'm curious about the red. 7, would you mind authenticating for me?
Why?
Please, just do it.
Humor me. Because reasons. He stared at Junpei for a moment, and then grunted and laid his palm heavily on the scanner.
Happy?
Yeah, thanks. The number 7 has been entered into the red. Next is June. Please touch the red just like 7 did.
Junpei, what are you trying to figure out?
Ah, yep. I think
Junpei thought about his answer for a moment.
I might have found another way out.
What?
What?
Really?
That got them excited. Just as Junpei had intended.
Now please, June.
Oh, okay.
Seven and 6 was 13, 1 plus 3 equals 4. With those 2 numbers in the red, Junpei had what he wanted. He casually placed his own hand on the scanner, and the 3rd asterisk blinked. 4 plus 5 equals 9.
Alright, the only people who haven't authenticated now are Santa, Clover, and Lotus.
So, what's your point?
You don't get it. Think about it.
Huh?
What's the sum of your number and Clover's?
12.
And what's the digital root of that?
3.
Which is Santa's number. By the way, Lotus, what's the number that's currently in the red?
7 plus 6 plus 5 equals 18. It would be 9, right?
Yes, and what will the digital root be if you add 3 to that?
3. The door's number.
There you go.
Hey, wait a minute. What the hell are you up to?
I'm not up to anything. I'm just waiting.
Waiting for what?
I'm waiting for the balance to shift. Santa, or Lotus and Clover. Once one of you moves, the others won't have a choice. So I'm waiting.
Junpei laid his hand almost casually on the lever.
You son of a bitch! You tricked us!
Yeah, and you're all idiots for falling for it.
Then all that stuff you were going on about is all bullshit!
Bullshit? Huh. I don't think so. Didn't I tell you I'd figured out another way to get out of here? This is it.
Why the hell would you do something like this?
Junpei glanced at June.
Junpei?
You did this just so you could go through the same door as June. That's it?
Santa was furious. His face was red, and flecks of spit flew from his lips as he spoke. Junpei closed his eyes calmly and then opened them again.
So, who's it going to be? Santa? Or Lotus and Clover?
Shit!
Let's go, Clover.
Huh?
Lotus leapt forward. She grabbed Clover by the sleeve and ran for Junpei and the door.
Fuck!
Caught by surprise, Santa froze for a moment, then shot forward like a bullet from a gun. Lotus had a head start, but Santa had the advantage in size and speed. Almost immediately, he passed Lotus and Clover.
Oh, no, wait!
Santa did not hesitate.
Ah!
He slammed his hand down on the red.
This is insane! This isn't right!
He glared at Junpei, his chest heaving.
Yeah, well, you may be right.
Junpei's voice was cold, but not without effort.
But
He turned to the red and pulled the lever. With the sound of metal on metal, the door opened. It would only remain so for 9 seconds. There was no time to think.
go.
Junpei and his 3 reluctant companions jumped into the door's gaping mouth, one after another. No sooner did they enter than an all too familiar noise sounded from their left wrists. The detonators had activated. Junpei looked back only once and saw Lotus and Clover on the other side of the closing door.
No.
They stood still, stopped where they had been when Santa reached the red. The defeat and desperation on their faces tore at Junpei's heart. Then the door closed and they were gone.
You son of a bitch, Junpei! This isn't fair!
Santa rounded on Junpei, lightning crackling in his eyes and his knuckles white.
Do you realize what you just did? You leave them out there, and they can't...
Shut it! That's enough!
It hadn't been Junpei that spoke, but 7.
We gotta find the dead or none of this is gonna matter!
The clock was ticking. The dead was their only chance at survival. Unless they could find it and deactivate their detonators, the 4 of them would be...
We got less than a minute left! No time for screwing around! Get moving!
Damn it! You and I are not done yet, bastard!
They scattered and began to scour the room. The deactivation device was nowhere to be found.
Where the hell is it?
Corridors stretched out in 3 directions, but everyone was blocked off by a wall of metal. There was only one way out. One other door.
Over there! It's gotta be behind the door!
7 ran for the door, a rusty iron thing. His large hands grabbed hold of the handle and pulled.
Damn, it's pitch dark inside.
Can't see a thing!
Junpei stuck his head through the door and looked around the room.
No, wait!
Almost immediately, he spotted the blinking red light on the right wall.
I found it! The dead's right over here!
He stepped into the room.
Ugh. What? The floor's slippery!
He stopped and glanced down at his feet. What was...
Hey! What the hell are you doing?
There's something...
Get over there!
Alright, Scorpion. 7 felt Junpei's heavy hand against his back and stumbled across the room. The other 3 piled in behind him. They all felt immediately that something was wrong. Nothing that could be easily identified, only a sense that something terrible shared the room with them. But there was no time to say so.
Quick! Get to the dead!
They all started running. In the dark, it was hard to tell where the wall was. All they could see was the tiny red light blinking at them over and over and over.
There it is!
Oh god, it's covered in blood. In quick succession, they all slammed their hands against the scanner panel. Huh. Seven leaned against the wall, gulping air. As his breathing began to return to normal, he glanced at his left wrist and grunted.
It stopped. It stopped.
Junpei could hear him laughing in the dark, but could barely make out the larger man's face.
I don't think I'll ever get used to doing this.
What the...
The sound of retching came from Santa's direction.
What the hell is this smell? This is vile. I'm gonna puke.
So desperate had they been in their race to the dead that no one had noticed the horrible smell that pervaded the room. It was a terrible, nauseating stench, like burnt and rotten meat. Adrenaline had drowned it out, but now it rolled over. Now it rolled over Junpei in waves, forcing itself into his nose with every breath he took.
Oh, you're right. Oh, this is...
He felt his stomach clench and bile rise up in his throat.
Let's get the lights on first. There's a switch over here.
The light that spilled in from the door barely illuminated a small switch plate next to the door. Slowly, with the toll of the last few minutes apparent in his gait, Seven walked towards it. Oh, it's the sloshiness that really just... Ew.
Okay, guys, I'm flipping it on.
There was a soft click as the lights came on. Just as the light turned on, June took in a short breath and... Scream echoes through the room. Junpei's breath stopped in his throat. His heart ceased to beat. Time froze. His mind scrambled to make sense of what he saw before him.
What?
Hey.
Oh, this is...
What was left of the body sat in a sea of blood. Chunks of flesh torn from the body sat in the blood like tiny islands in a great red sea. A vast ragged hole had been torn in the torso, and what remained of his intestines spilled out of it like fresh spaghetti. Smaller chunks of meat had splattered against the wall and become stuck there as they dried. Globules of yellowish fat had left trails like tiny slugs as gravity pulled them down the wall, even as they dried to it.
Looks like an explosion.
Seven's voice was low and strained.
Just like the Knife Man. The detonator in his bracelet set off the bomb in his gut.
Oh god. The bone is coming out of his left arm.
It's definitely an open fracture.
It looked as though the explosion had been quite powerful. His legs were both bent in an odd, unnatural way, and his left arm had split open, exposing the painfully white bone of his ulna. His bracelet lay next to him. It seemed to have hit the wall hard enough to have shattered the display, which lay on the ground in pieces.
The face is the worst.
Yeah, you can't even tell who it is.
Half of his head had simply collapsed. The blood coating almost made it look like raw pizza dough covered in tomato sauce. His clothes, too, were covered in blood. The burgundy tie, the white shirt, the jacket with the yellow piping, and the grey slacks.
But the clothes are...
They were all familiar to Junpei.
Is that... Snake?
Santa's voice wavered as he spoke, his mouth dry.
Oh my god.
Finally, Junpei spoke.
Why did this happen?
No!
Suddenly, June was screaming, her voice broken. It was an eerie scream, full of insanity and not entirely human.
No! No! No!
She shook her head violently and grabbed fistfuls of her own hair. Junpei could hear the sound of hair tearing.
Stop! Calm down!
He grabbed for her wrist.
Hey!
But as he did, June leapt up and ran toward the exit.
Please! Get me out of here! You have to let me out of here!
She screamed at the door, and her fists slammed against it with a hollow sound. Junpei could see drops of blood on her knuckles.
Why are you doing these horrible things to us? What did we do to deserve this?
June.
She screamed again, a desperate, mindless cry. Her fists flailed against the door.
Get me out of here! Please! Please! Just let me out!
June.
Junpei couldn't watch anymore. He ran to June and wrapped his arm around her, pulling the screaming girl away from the door.
Calm down.
No! Get off of me! Let me go! Let me go!
Please, calm down.
She scrambled for a moment, her legs skittering across the floor, but her resistance didn't last long. As suddenly as her outburst had begun, it was over. The manic energy disappeared and her body went limp in Junpei's arms. June collapsed toward the floor, and Junpei knelt down with her. He felt drops of something warm and wet. Was she crying? A moment later, she began to sob. Oh. Oh. Her shoulders shook, and great hot tears rolled down her face like rain.
We're gonna be fine. It's gonna be alright, June. It's going to be okay, Connie.
Honey. Her name was a whisper.
I'll be here with you, okay?
She nodded once.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Junpei.
Her trembling voice pulled at Junpei's heart. He stroked her hair gently. His face was so close to her. The scent of her hair was nostalgic.
Do you feel better?
Yes, but I'd like to stay here. For a little while, at least. Junpei's body is so warm.
Several minutes passed before June's tears had dried. Junpei stood up. He bent down, put his arms under June's and helped her to her feet. They didn't speak. Neither did Seven or Santa. The person was dead. They had died in that room in a terrible way. Junpei knew there was no way he could make himself forget that. There was no way any of them could forget it. But mourning would do no good. They spread out to search the room. but each felt as if their heart was made of lead.
We better get to it.
Well, that was dramatic. Like, holy crap. So, we're in the shower room. Okay. How is everybody doing? Hey, Blunter. Okay. So, Jesus, where do we start, huh? That whole, like, that is rough, though. That is rough. Those letters written in blood. LLR. Do you think that might be some sort of dying message from Snake? No, that's impossible. You saw the body. You weren't doing anything after something like that happens to you. And this? Well, the way the blood's dried tells you it's real old. Whoever's blood this is, it ain't Snake's. You're saying this blood was put here a long time ago? Yeah. Gotta go do some shopping. Yeah, all good. Be safe out there. Old message written in blood. It says LLR. Bucket. Okay. We have the broom. Junpei reached for the broom, and as he grabbed it, he heard a soft voice from behind him. It was June.
The rabbit hutch.
Huh?
He turned around. June still looked sadly pale, but there was a smile on her face.
Oh, you just reminded me of it. The rabbit hutch, I mean.
How did I remind you of something like that?
Jumpy and the broom. You're always playing around with the broom in front of the rabbit hutch.
I was.
Don't you remember?
Junpei stared at the broom in his hand.
You mean you don't remember that summer either?
What is wrong? What is wrong with your hands, woman? She looked very sad. He shook his head.
Of course I remember. How could I forget something like that? It was terrible.
They were in the 6th grade. Junpei and June had been assigned to take care of the classroom pets, the rabbits. Their chief duty was to clean the hutches every morning. On the final day of school before summer vacation began, Junpei overslept. He rushed to school and found June standing in front of the rabbit hutches. No sooner had Junpei arrived than June began to cry. He had no idea why until he looked behind her, into the rabbit hutch. The first thing he saw was blood. The hutch was filled with the dead bodies of the rabbits. Oh. Even after their teachers and friends came to see what the commotion was, June couldn't stop crying.
I just kept crying and crying until you came over. you held my hand, and you looked very serious, and you said, "Don't cry. I'm gonna catch the person who did this." After you told me that, I finally stopped crying.
Well, the real fun started after you quit crying. You told me we were going to catch the killer together.
June smiled, and a little of the flush. June smiled, and a little of the flush of life returned to her cheeks.
Then we decided that we'd ambush them.
Yeah, I remember.
The school also kept roosters and guinea pigs. Junpei and June had decided the murderer would likely return to finish off the rest of the animals. They would ambush the killer at night. Junpei and June hid behind the hutch at dusk and waited. It was a warm summer night. The quiet sound of crickets whispered through the air. As the sun went down, the stars began to wink at them from the sky. And June's, Akane Kuroshiki's face. That night was something Junpei knew he would never forget, as long as he lived.
But the murderer never showed up. We waited for them all summer vacation, and they never showed up.
Yeah, but the animals didn't get attacked either. I think all that work amounted to something, you know?
He'd felt the same way, but it was good to hear her say it.
Although, you know, if you think about it, we were probably taking on a lot more than we could handle.
What do you mean?
She looked up at him, confused.
Oh, come on, we were just kids. If whoever killed the rabbits had actually showed up, they probably would have had a knife or something. I mean, you must have been pretty worried, right?
I wasn't worried. Because you were there with me.
Oh. She blushed furiously. Gee, I really hope Santa's threat about the person you trust the most stabbing you in the back doesn't come to fruition.
Well, you know, no one else wanted to take care of the animals.
Clearly embarrassed, she tried desperately to change the subject.
I was the only one who asked to do it at first.
Yeah, well, boys don't really want to bother with taking care of animals, you know?
Well, yeah, but you asked to do it after I did, didn't you?
If it wasn't the rabbits, they were going to make me do something else. You know how that school was. I figured it'd be better if I was working with somebody who wasn't too much of a loudmouth, right? Somebody who wasn't going to tell on me if I felt like blowing it off.
Really? That's why you volunteered?
Yeah, it is.
He nodded quickly, and much too earnestly, and then looked away at something very important.
Really?
Of course.
That hadn't been the reason, of course. He had asked to take care of the rabbits so that he could be near June. But it had been so long ago, he couldn't bring himself to tell her how he'd felt back then. It would be embarrassing. He took a quick breath to clear his head, tossed the broom up, and then snatched it out of the air.
Well, we don't really have time to be walking down memory lane like this, you know? We've got to figure out a way out of this room. Otherwise...
Yes. I'm gonna look over there.
June nodded curtly and turned to walk away.
I should get back to it myself.
Ugh.
That's right. The pool of blood.
Ugh. Junpei turned around and looked at the room. At Snake's body. Chunks of flesh and organs still lay on the floor.
Going on and on about old times right next to a corpse? What were we doing? Well, maybe it was because we're in this mess.
Despite such a situation, or perhaps because of it, the mind turned to the farthest thing from death that it could find. Still, Junpei couldn't help but feel a twinge of guilt at wanting so desperately to live when Snake lay dead before him.
I have to survive. no matter the cost.
Well, I'm so glad Meg wasn't here to hear about the dead bunnies.
I need to make sure she gets out too.
As he stared at the clumps of blackened flesh, all Junpei could think of was how much he wanted to live. Broom! As you do. What are you gonna do with the broom? Toilet paper? A wooden box. There's something in here. Luminol? What the hell is this thing? Some kind of spray bottle? There's something written on it. I can't read anything else. The label's all faded away. Oh, let me see that. He just grabbed it from him. That wasn't very nice. No, this is luminol. You know, forensic guys use it at crime scenes. Oh yeah, that stuff that glows blue when you spray it on blood. Even if the blood's been wiped off, it'll still glow. Okay. Okay. Anything else in the other stalls? That is a toilet. What do you think this is? Yeah, it looks like tar. It's kind of sticky. I don't think we can just wipe it off. I doubt just pouring some water on it is gonna help much either. What about hot water? Hot water? If we had some really hot water, like boiling hot, then maybe that would wash it off. It's a water tank for a toilet. I've seen a lot of OC guys try and hide a piece in something like this. Usually for a 187 or something. Guess they think it's clever. Don't know when they'll figure out everybody else thinks it's clever too. Huh? I mean, I know peace, but what's OC? Organized crime. What is that? Some kind of police slang? Huh? Probably. Huh? What did I say? Why does he look all sad now? That's not really important right now, guys. Let's just check it out, alright? Well, he's not wasting any time. Screwdriver! Is it Sonic? Should we return it to Tommy Pickles? Like, what? What? There might be something in the tank, you know? Let's open that shit up. Red keycard. There's nothing in the toilet. If there was, that'd be gross. Yeah, fair. Maybe I can use the shower here to fill the bucket with hot water. Hey, Seven, could you turn on the shower? I'm gonna put the bucket under the head. Ah, okay, sure thing. Bucket filled with hot water. Nice. Now, let's go wipe away the black tar. Not to be confused with the Xenoblade song of the same name. I flushed the hot water from the bucket. That should clean it up. Oh, so I have to go in the tank. Alright, so I just pour the hot water into this tank and... Oh, looks like you filled it. Now you should be able to flush it, right? There's probably a handle somewhere on the tank you can pull. You think so? Serious? Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Alright, let's flush the hot water. Well, there it goes. Just like a toilet should work. No more hot water. I can't flush it anymore. 185 equals. That stuff's washed off. Looks like the writing was numbers. I see it. 185 equals... What is this? You got me. Just looks like numbers. Oh. Boy. Okay. What else? There's a piece of paper tied to this pipe with a wire. Notice, drainage valve operation. Please do not flush the water in these pipes. Doing so may cause the drain to overflow. So... Oh! Oh! Hold on. Wait. You don't really think we're supposed to use the luminol here, do you? Yeah, it does seem kind of weird to use it here. But maybe I should try it, just in case. There we go. LL or L or L. Oh. Or maybe it's LLL, L or R. LRR Tolkien. Wait, no. Hey, welcome back, Meg. So... L... No. L... Okay. L... 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 R... R. Well, I did what it said on the wall. Wonder if it actually did anything. Hey, this drain's acting up. What the hell did you do? I just messed with the valves a little. Nothing big. Really hot water comes out of the shower. I get the feeling it might still be useful for something else.
Hey, Junpei. You know why thermometers only go up to 107 degrees Fahrenheit?
Uh-oh.
No, I can't say I ever thought about that.
At 107 degrees, the cells in the human body start to die, and the organs begin to shut down. The proteins in your cells start to harden.
Ugh.
It's like when you hard-boil an egg. Even if you cool it down afterwards, it won't go back to being a raw egg. In other words, it's dead. That's why thermometers don't go past 107. There's no point.
Oh yeah?
But it's pretty rare for a fever to get that high. Even viruses and stuff don't usually drive the body temperature up to 107. Of course, there are other external things that could.
Like what?
Well, let's see. Something like getting locked in a sauna. Or getting thrown into an incinerator and burnt to death.
Yeah, I guess that would get a little hotter than 107 degrees Fahrenheit. All right, I got it! Huh? What's up?
Nothing. Forget about it.
What was that all about?
Punishment time!
Cool. Yeah, if I can get this hot water on the thermometer, then maybe... Thermometer, let's get this party started. Yep, looks like that's doing the trick. There goes the gauge. Now it's at the open mark. Huh? It opened. What's this? Looks like there's a piece of paper in here. 957 plus. Okay. Weird. Oh, no, I don't want to think about that either. I was trying to touch the drain here. Oh, wait. There must be water flowing through the pipe on the right. There's water pouring out of the drain. Hey, we got the Lotus card! It's the blue key card. This is, the symbol for Mercury, isn't it? There was an elevator right outside of the big hospital room. I think that same symbol was on the card reader next to it. That's right! I guess that means we're not supposed to use this card in this room. Do you really think so? You don't think maybe we need it for this room and for the elevator? I mean, that's valid, I guess. So... What if I wrap the toilet paper around the broom? Oh, so you wrap the toilet paper around the broom, huh? Looks like the symbols line up perfectly. It says 634 plus. Okay, so 634 plus 957 plus 185 equals. So... So... 957 plus 634 plus 185 equals 1776. It equals the founding of America? Sure, why not? Okay. Oh, okay. Red lock, blue lock. The red light's on, Jumpy! Great job, Jumpy! Now we just need to put in the password. Murica! Yeah, I know what E and C do. Come on, you've explained this already. Got a whole new screen for this now. And we're out of here.
There's a large iron door at the end.
Let's take a look.
Outside of the shower room was a hallway that extended off to the left and right. They'd moved a few steps toward the door when Junpei heard the sound of metal on metal.
Huh?
They turned around. Seven was doing something to the door of the shower room.
What are you doing, Seven?
Well, I figure maybe we might want to come back here sometime. So, I stuck the broom in there to keep the door from shutting. Alright, let's go.
And with that, he stood up and began walking down the hallway. He brushed past Junpei and kept going. After a moment, the rest of them followed him. Before long, they found themselves at the large iron door. They had only been there for a moment when June spoke up.
Junpei, look!
He turned. There, on the right side of the hallway, was a piece of paper attached to the wall.
What's up?
What's that on the wall there?
Oh, I think it's...
Junpei ran over and peeled it off.
A map of the ship's interior?
It says C deck.
So it's the map for this floor, then. We'll have time to study it later. Let's keep going for now.
Well, back at the door, the four of them lined up in front of it. Santa stepped forward. He grabbed hold of the door, and then turned to look back at the rest of them.
Ready? I'm gonna open it.
They nodded. Santa nodded back and threw the door open. All four of them leapt through.
What the?
You're shitting me.
It took only a moment for them to realize where they were.
We're back.
They had been there only a short time ago. It was the large hospital room, filled with countless beds. Lotus and Clover looked up as they entered. Ace was there as well, although he looked as though he had only just woken up.
Clover! Lotus! And Ace! I'm glad you're all okay. Lotus? What are you...
The moment they spotted Junpei, Lotus and Clover headed straight for him. As she neared him, Lotus drew back her hand. And slapped him open-palmed across the face.
How could you do this to us?
Her face was furious. She grabbed Junpei by the collar and shook him violently. Clover didn't touch him. The hate in her eyes was no less potent. Seven who stopped them.
Knock it off! We got bigger shit to worry about right now.
His deep voice echoed across the massive room. Lotus glared at Seven, but let Junpei go after one last, vicious shake.
What?
Go have a look.
I
stuck the screwdriver in the door. That door over there, the one without a number. As long as the screwdriver's there, it can't shut, so you can get in there. There's a shower room past there. I stuck a broom at the door there too. Anyway, go take a look.
Then you're saying we can go in there without passing through the numbered door?
Yeah, it's about the size of it.
Wait, what the hell is in there?
You'll know when you see it.
Fine, let's go.
Lotus and Clover looked at one another for a moment, then nodded and stepped through the door. By then, Ace had made his way to them, moving with the stiff, shuffling steps of someone who has only just awoken from a lengthy slumber.
My goodness. I know I said I was sure you'd come back for me. I didn't think it would happen so soon, though.
Ace shook his head weakly.
Should I go as well?
Yeah.
Seven nodded.
Very well.
Ace followed Lotus and Clover with his stiff, tired gait. I'm sorry, but Clover, for this part, if nothing else, Clover should have also gotten a scream that everyone could hear. Same as Akane. The squeal of tortured metal made Junpei's teeth curl. It sounded like the noise a ghost would make. No matter how many times he heard it, he never got used to it. Every time it put him on edge. It didn't help that there was a girl nearby who looked far more like a ghost than a living human should. It was Clover. Actually, can we jump? We can! Brilliant. Was Zero still on the ship with them? Junpei wasn't sure. He wasn't sure.
Something's still strange.
Hmm? What was that?
Well, I'm just wondering about one thing.
And what's that?
How can you be so sure that Zero's on this ship?
Ace's eyebrows shot up.
Really, Junpei? I confess I'm a little disappointed. Usually you're rather sharp. Isn't it obvious?
Wait, it is?
This ship.
Huh?
Zero said, "this ship," several times when he addressed us. If he weren't here, he wouldn't say this ship, would he? He'd be saying something like, that ship, or the ship.
Oh, yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Ace's explanation made perfect sense. Junpei felt a little foolish that he hadn't seen it himself. Still, he was left with a question, and it was one of no small importance.
If Zero's on the ship, where is he?
Suddenly, everyone went very quiet. The silence was cold and clammy, and Junpei could feel it crawling across his back and around his throat. Again, he heard the ghosting, moaning noises. And moments later, a person who looked more ghost than human appeared. It was Clover. Okay, so we're doing the Zero is one of us bit. Well, let's agree with her this time, just for the extra dialogue.
Well, that's possible.
Huh?
Like Clover said, Zero might be one of us.
What are you saying, Jumpy? Didn't you hear what Ace said?
Exactly. I said we shouldn't suspect one another for no reason.
No reason. I've got a great reason.
And what's that?
The bracelets.
He held out his left arm.
Why are the bombs in our bodies connected to the bracelets? You're all thinking Zero's hiding somewhere watching us, right? If he's doing that, then he could just detonate the bombs by remote control if someone did something they weren't supposed to. It would be a lot more precise and a lot easier. But if that's the case, then why is the bomb set off by the detonator in the bracelet?
You got a point.
I'm not done. Try applying the same ideas to the Nonary game. All of the puzzles here run all by themselves. In other words, Zero doesn't have to be controlling them for the game to move forward. Why's that? Why would Zero bother to do something like that?
Junpei let the question hang in the air and looked at the others. It was Santa who answered.
So let's say you and Clover are right. Zero's one of us. If that's the case, then it'd be really hard for him to keep track of all of us or control anything remotely. That's why all the puzzles run by themselves. That's what you're getting at, right?
Yeah.
Junpei nodded.
7, when we were talking earlier, you said any one of us could be Snake's killer, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Alright then. I've got a question for you, Ace. You said something like Zero must be the one who killed Snake, right?
Yes, something like that. I can't think of any other explanation.
So what do we get if we combine those? They fit together pretty well, I think. Something like this. Whoever killed Snake is Zero. Hence, Zero is one of us. 7 and Ace's theories aren't mutually exclusive. They actually complement each other pretty well. At least they do if Zero is one of us.
No one spoke. Their faces were grim, but Junpei wasn't sure if they believed him or not. Finally, Lotus spoke up.
What were his motives?
His motives?
Yes, isn't that pretty important? Why would Zero want to hide as one of us?
Oh, well, that's because,
Junpei choked. He hadn't thought of that, and he had to be honest with himself. He had no idea.
I don't know.
Lotus sighed.
Well, so much for making a persuasive argument, Junpei.
In other words, you only had circumstantial evidence.
I don't really think that's enough to go on, you know?
Ah.
Junpei was painfully aware of their eyes on him, and their disapproval. He tried to find something else, anything else to look at. Then, in that horrible silence... Uh-oh. 3 a.m. They heard a bell begin to ring. It was the clock at the central staircase.
It's 3 in the morning.
That means we have 3 hours left.
Then we need to move now. 7, Clover, Junpei. I know how you feel, but you do understand that right now it's important we trust one another, don't you?
You're right, but...
Junpei couldn't bring himself to respond. He swallowed the words he wanted to say and sighed. 7 and Clover remained similarly silent. Their eyes were looking at something somewhere else, very far away.
We must go. We have very little time left.
Ace's words put their feet to moving. They all knew where they were going.
Our next destination is Mercury.
Okay. And at that, as we have crossed the 3-hour mark, I think that's where we'll leave it, because I do not want this stream to go 5 hours again, like last time. So when we come back, we'll probably go through door 2 this time, because we went through door 1 the last time. And that is where we will pick things up from. So, tomorrow, what is it tomorrow? That is a good question. I don't know. Possibly the rest of this just to get the next ending, because from Monday to the following Sunday, there won't be any streams because I've got work obligations that week. So we might just pick this up again tomorrow, early in the day, and finish out the next ending. We're probably on course for the submarine ending. If we go through door 2, I think we're on course for the submarine ending, which could be fun. That could be fun. That could be fun, but we'll see. Maybe the game will throw us a curveball. Nope. Maybe the game will throw us a curveball. So, big thank you to everyone who was with us across the last couple of hours. We love and appreciate all of you lurky turkeys, and those of you active in the chat, hitting the redeems, making all the fun times and the giggles, all of that stuff. So we'll see you tomorrow, possibly for more Zero Escape, possibly for more Fantasian. I don't know. Maybe more dot hack. I really don't know. I guess I'll just I guess we'll see where we land tomorrow with all of it, and I'll keep you guys up to date. All right, well, thank you so much. Ta-ra for now. And